Yes, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Williamson County Board of Commissioners meeting. Today it's Tuesday, July 21st, 2026. It's 9:01 a.m. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Present.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Jim Razor.
Present.
All right, let's get started. In old business, I have opioid funding application for Williamson County Veterans Drug Court. Does anybody have anything to say about this? Any discussion?
I do, sitting on the 708 board, we did discuss it. We did talk with Ted a little bit. There was a question brought up as to how many were going to go to this training. We're using the opioid funding for this training. Originally some members thought it was only one or two. No, it's going to be at least 9 people. So they did increase the amount to, I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe it was 24,000 from the original 12. And, we approved it. 708 board did approve it, so Ted's approved it. We know that. So it comes before us to approve the opioid funding application for the Williamson County Veterans Drug Court.
Commissioner Razor, do you have anything to say?
No, I think we discussed it earlier. These education opportunities are, I think, a good use of this money.
I believe my conversation with Ted, this is actually what that money is for, or should be used for also. So I think it fits completely guidelines. You said 24,000, Jim?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is right there.
Because all I have right here is 12,000.
Yeah, they gave us updated, very last, it was updated. It's around 24. 70 here. But that's what it was approximately 24.
I will add that the state's attorney told me the county's going to pay for it one way or another. If you don't use the opioid funds, it's going to go under a travel account.
It's $24,465.02. This is the amended application.
24,600.
24,465.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve this funding?
Totally.
Second.
This is for $24,465.02 to be used for the Williamson County Veterans Drug. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Any other old business? Okay, moving on down to new business. Additional principal payment of the road bond. Ashley or Ann, you have?
I mean, so the board chose from the, I guess, inception of whenever we were receiving the money from the casino to earmark all funds that the casino tax that went to the county would be used to retire the road debt certificates for the re-station noticing. We're in a call period now, and there's about $4.5 million in that pooled trust fund at the moment. We reached out to First Southern Bank, which is the holder of those certificates, and we are able to retire 7 additional years of that 20-year bond certificate. Total amount due is $3,976,518.75, I believe, give or take a few cents.
That does include the interest payment that would be due regardless.
Regardless.
Yeah. 276,000.
76,000.
Yeah.
So it's our recommendation that we use the funds that are available to pay those and retire these certificates.
Right.
I think actually when Ann had an opportunity to talk to Ray Olmans, and I mean, moving forward, we would have the opportunity I think, to retire any additional debt at any time.
I think we had 3-year
This one
windows
more, but-
to retire the debt certificates.
They will make an exception for us just because of the excellent relationship that the county has with them. So if we would decide to take, those funds, we have, I think budgeted $1.8 million that we believe we'll have, from the casino tax revenue to put into that whole trust fund at the end of the year. So we would have the opportunity, when it comes due in January, to, have the schedule provided and take the remaining 600,000+ that we'll have left over, plus, that, and retire another probably 2 or 3 years with that. I think it was the board's intention always, even though we took the 20-year term out, to make the debt service and the cash flow work from an overall global perspective, was that we wanted to retire this debt within 7 to 10 years. Based off of what we're doing, that would be easily attainable. I mean, we honestly.
Considering the revenues coming from that tax
Yes, yeah.
stay approximately where they're at right now.
Yeah, and they have. They've either steadily maintained or they've increased slightly. So I don't see that falling off anytime. So, I'm confident that we should easily get that 7-year mark.
Do we have an approximate balance after we make this principal payment?
I won't be able to get it until after we make these, we go and satisfy that semi-annual interest payment, and then we retire these, then once we get that, we'll back what the actual, total amount is. Because this just gives you the amounts of a principal and interest amount that's due. So we'll have to take all that money and apply it and have it, retire those certificates and then we can final. The board's done exactly what they intended. The money's been there and they're celebrating the payoff. So it's a benefit to everyone.
Any other comments? Suggestions on this?
I just think we're very fortunate and blessed to have a revenue generating engine. System that's something else. Enable us to bring that in, put it in infrastructure, and be able to pay it off very reasonable.
Yeah, I think it's a source of revenue, though, that we don't know how long it lasts. We don't know if 10 years from now or 15 years from now, attendance drops off or increases. That's an unknown. And that's why I hope we stay very aggressive on this. If it does continue to be a strong revenue stream and we get it taken care of in less time, then we can use that money for anything that the boards at that time need it for. And will help us maybe work on some other taxes that maybe we don't have to increase as much. So I think I personally believe this is incredibly important to stay very aggressive, and every time we can retire some of this, get rid of it as fast as we can.
Well, can I also add another thing? One thing, because there's always comments about how inflated our budget is. This is the first year we've actually put the excess as a line item to transfer over to the pool. Otherwise, I've just been transferring that money and keeping a spreadsheet of what we have actually taken in and then moving that over just to make sure that it was there. So, again, the quote, oh my gosh, $30 million budget that's can't seem to figure out where the money is or what it actually is made up of. That $1.8 million is literally a line item in the budget to move from, the revenue side into that pooled fund for these, retirement purposes.
Ashley, you're confident that we can act annually on this now? We don't have to wait for the 3-year period?
I personally talked to Ray Owens at the bank, and he told me that due to the relationship the bank has with the county, and it's a great relationship, that if we wanted to retire some at any time. Like come January next year, when there's a bond that's due again, if we wanted to retire an additional one, the bank would be fine with that.
So it comes down to what balance do we have versus what is the next
Correct,
certificate?
correct.
And we have to pay it on the due dates. So that's like, we're able to retire these because we have a semi-annual interest payment.
Right,
So when our, P&I payment is due in January.
they're due January 30th.
Yeah, so then we can apply.
Understood. This
Yeah.
just to me is so much better than having to wait another 3 years.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I specifically
Chipping
asked
away
them
at it
that
faster.
question.
Yeah, because we're only making,
It was gaining interest.
yeah, but we're only making 3.3 or 3 or
Right.
4. It's about break even. I mean, these rates are about, are at 4.05, something like that. So I mean, it's kind of a break even, it's not like we're got an arbitrage, we're making
If you
5%
don't,
no.
every 3 years, which is what I thought was good with the original agreement. We know that we're making interest, it's going to be making more than paying back.
And I would like to give a shout out to Ray Aldenix, thank him for allowing us and recognizing the relationship and allowing us to do this.
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion to make this payment, this principal payment?
I make a motion, we apply the, this $3,976,518.75. That record figure.
Let me specify, the additional principal is 3.7 million.
Okay,
The
3.
difference is the semi-annual interest that
Okay.
has to be made no matter what.
All right, so
So
it's
the
3.
additional bonds are 3.7 million.
3.7.
Yes,
That's gonna be what the additional principal
Correct.
payment is.
Yes.
Okay, I make the motion then to apply the 3.7 million additional principal payment to the road bond.
Second. Roll call, please.
Tim Anderson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah,
Jim Riser.
Okay. Thank you, Ann. Appreciate that. Thank you. Actually, enterprise lease agreement, and we might as well combine these next two agenda items, discussion of lease vehicles. Lease agreement together.
yeah, I've seen it.
You want me to start on this one too?
Yeah.
Okay. So 4 years ago, just a little background, 4 years ago, the county had issues as far as, like, I guess, committing to replacing their fleet in various, departments. One way, we figured out a way to try to improve the fleet overall and also have like an ongoing, like static payment amount where we could budget a little bit better. And so we entered into this agreement with Enterprise, and we got roughly 12 or 14 vehicles total, between the assessor's office, the animal control, and EMA. So the assessor's office was the first one that we had come in, and those are there's at least 2 vehicles that are coming out for expiration, in that lease term, which was for 48 months. We unfortunately don't have an option, even though some of these vehicles, due to staffing issues or other things, that we don't have a lot of miles on them. We can't buy those outright. We got to continue the lease. So I got this vehicle comparison, or this quote, on a similar, they no longer make a Ford Escape, which is what we currently have now. So the product that they're using that's a similar is this, Chevy Trax model. So if we were to turn one in, and we wanted to go with a lease payment, again, like it would be with this Chevy Trax, the price, we would trade in the vehicle. There's an equity position of roughly $8,000 or $9,000 that would be applied, or the trading credit would be applied for the value of the vehicle based on what the odometer is. And then like the payment, roughly $355, which I think is somewhere close to what we're paying now. I think the question begs for the board is, given the current financial state that we were in. And I think maybe a little more of a commitment of looking at these vehicles and being able to set up maybe just a rotation, like what maybe have with the sheriff now, that type of thing. Is, do we continue to lease, or do we buy outright? Also, now's the time to assess if do we have the right, products in those departments, and do we need all of them? I mean, do we need, 4 vehicles? Do we, does it need to be pared down to 3? Does it need to be increased to 5? Whatever it may be. But I mean, those are things now that we, I think that need to be discussed and talked about, especially, budget's around the corner, and then just lease, we're coming up. But I reached out to Enterprise and got the bid, just so you can, use that as a comparison to see. So it won't affect our overall annual payment with them. It's right in that line. But the question now becomes, because we also have a better understanding of what those vehicles are doing, like how much, how many miles we're putting on them, when they're used. Whereas I honestly don't think we ever had any idea, prior to that time. So, now is determining, should we buy one outright, or do we buy 2 outright and only lease, 3, or what combination do we need to come up with? So this is just I think primarily a discussion point, to see what the board's appetite is on what route.
So cars that we have now, the accessories, those are the ones that are first. They're gonna go away. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, yeah, I mean, your options are, is we keep paying for them, and the same, which, I mean, we're kind of throwing money away,
Yeah.
or we, upgrade to a brand new one,
But there's no purchase option.
but there's no purchase option, or the other thing is do we, we have others in the fleet, so we could, turn those cars in, have that credit and let them, wholesale them out, take that credit and apply it to the remaining fleets, and then have them adjust.
They will do that?
Well, they should. I mean, otherwise, where's the equity? You're gonna have to run.
That was what my question was all
You're gonna have to
about.
give us a check, which they can give us a check for the difference, which we could then apply, to a purchase, or we can apply it back into the program, and have it readjusted. That's what we did originally. They gave us a quote, and we wholesaled all of those vehicles out that were in our fleet, and then they applied that credit, to the program, and then reduced the overall cost. So, I mean, that's, those are the options, but I mean, there's a lot of options out there. You just have to pick and choose, what you would want to do.
There's an option which they would pay us trade-in credit.
I mean, I think we can get a check from them. I can email Patrick and
For
ask
that
him,
whole,
but,
for the, like in this one here, it's $8,000.
I mean, yeah, I believe so. I mean, I can, but I'll double check. I mean,
Is there
I
a
want to speak out
timeline
of
on
turn.
this?
We need to make a decision on
The
these
first one
accessories.
expires in September.
Yeah,
There are
so-
2022 Ford Escapes. I think the first one expires in September and the second one is October. Fairly certain. So both of them is before this fiscal year ends.
And what's the mileage on them?
I emailed that to Tim.
Yeah, I think did I send that to,
I can run and get it from Julie.
You got about 20,000 miles on
well, the 2 of them had about 30. The other ones-
I mean, they're low miles. I mean,
Yeah, they're
it's-
very
it's-
low
it's- I mean,
miles.
on average,
That's
I think we're maybe about,
One's 35, one's 40.
Because
Yeah.
I asked Greg.
we're putting like 8,000 or 9,000 miles a year. I mean, they're low mile, vehicles.
But the trade-in credit, I think, Ashley, is only if you purchase or lease another vehicle. I don't think it's just, we can take it and go down to Apsher and use that money.
Well, but I mean, but we still have other vehicles in the fleet. So I would think that we should be able to take that trading credit and apply it to the existing payments. I believe. I mean, I'll, like I said, I will verify and double check. But whenever we wholesaled out all of those, the prior vehicles that we had, and all of that money was applied directly to the, the program.
But we wholesaled them to them
Yes.
and then purchased from them.
Well, we have a lease from
But that's what I'm saying. I think that's gonna be the,
the turnaround.
yeah,
I mean, we'll see.
I do. I mean, it's their incentive to make you stay with them for business, I believe. And I didn't know, I know the contracts don't allow for or have a buyout option at the end of it. But I know that Enterprise, they've got a place in St. Louis that sells all of these leased vehicles on an open market, so to speak. I wonder if there's anybody we can get a hold of to find out if they would sell it to us. We know the vehicle.
I emailed him and asked him that. He said that that was not an option. But I mean, I guess I could pose it in a different way.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between us rolling up there and buying?
Yeah.
You know, off of your, you know, your wholesale one. So
Yeah.
I'll reach out to him. I mean, I'll ask him those questions.
If I can help, let me know.
We'll you know, can the credit apply? And, I mean, either to like the existing overall agreement, you know, or if there's any, you know, other option.
I just don't know why they would give us an $8,000 check for turning a vehicle in that we have an obligation to turn it in anyway.
I mean, I understand.
So one of them has 31,000 and the other has 30,000. And that's over 48 months, so that's 4 years, so they're both very low mileage.
3,000 or so a year.
And we take care of the maintenance on it, oil change.
Yeah, we did not buy the maintenance program.
Okay.
We've done that. I mean, I think we pay $10 or $12 a month, so we have like a card, so whenever any department takes their vehicle, and we're not gonna speak to this, you take it to your vehicle, you give them a card, and then they scan it in because they're on that enterprise network, and then everything is uploaded. Then also, being part of that program, enterprise negotiates the cost of the you know, of the repair. So they get it at a discount, you know, rate or something like that. So we try to reduce the, you know, the repair shops in our network, which I think there's maybe 8 or 10 right here. So it's not like it's something where it's almost so simple.
Okay, do we want to bring this discussion back up? Do we have a little bit more information?
Yeah, it's gonna require just a little more in-depth study.
And I asked Greg to ask Josh. They have, how many vehicles do you have in your department, Josh?
We have 5 total, including mine.
5 total. So sounds like you still need 5. Is that the case, Josh?
Yes, I would say stay with 5. I'd like to have 5 field people down the line in the future. Whether we, you know, but yeah, I'd like to keep at least 5.
Okay. All right. Did you have the opportunity to kind of look at what types of vehicles you need? Do you need the cars, you need the trucks? Because you have a couple of trucks also.
Yes, we, yeah, I don't know, I would say at least keep 1 truck for in case we gotta go somewhere that need the truck, but, I think the cars are a better idea because they're obviously better on gas. But,
Yeah.
if you want to think about getting rid of a truck and replacing it with a car, that's an idea,
Yeah, cost of operation a little bit higher on the truck.
but I would say at least keep 1 truck in case we need to go somewhere. Can't go with cars.
Yeah. Do you guys have any action that you want to do on this today?
Or any other questions I need to ask besides applying the trade credit?
Right.
I would be interested to know the $51 additional for full maintenance. This was all happening when I came to the board, so I didn't get the full discussion, so I have a little bit of a void here. What do they consider full maintenance?
It's primarily just the, it's primarily like your oil changes, tire rotation.
It'll be your 7,500, your
Yeah.
15,000, like all of this, the manufacturer recommended maintenance schedule. That's what that accounts for.
So
If there's
anything,
a transmission flush at 50,000, it would.
And no more miles than we're putting on these?
You're just doing oil
That would be
changes. and tire-
once or twice a year
yeah,
that you're paying $50 a month.
I do expect that to ramp up a little bit, but nothing crazy.
No, I mean, it's
Taking a
never
lot
gonna
more
get to make
pictures
that.
and things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are low enough miles, yeah, like, I mean, because if you have to buy brakes, you have to buy new tires, you know, you have to have any other outside, you know, like,
Understood.
those are all going to,
Expensive parts.
those are gonna be in addition to that, you know,
And that,
anyway.
and that's. the
Yeah.
reason why we opted
Yeah.
out. Yeah. If you remember, one of the big reasons why we went to the police was this was all during COVID, and we couldn't get cars.
Yeah, it was, it was,
And
11 months before we were able to get a vehicle. And the only reason, that was the other thing, yeah, because, I mean, these are bought through the, the government buying program. So we obviously, they do get the best price. I mean, we've only had to buy one vehicle, like outside of that bubble. And we still got a pretty good negotiated price on that. We just.
And that's a good
Miles on.
Yeah, just don't, and these cars should last us 8 or 10 years.
That's my thought, and I know we're not deciding today, but my 2 cents is low mileage like this, it doesn't make sense to lease, be buying these.
Yeah.
Plus, we're adding every 4 years, we've got to rebrand everything, I mean, we've got to build that in.
And there's upgrading charges as well.
So just,
Oh, yeah.
to me, the mileage we're putting on these, it makes more sense to purchase them and try to get 8 years out of them, or 10 years. Can I get 10 years out of my personal vehicle? So,
It actually kind of brings up a good point. I think we can still get into the state program.
We can, I mean, there's,
State,
either you get into the state program where there's a company called Sourcewell, I think, or something. Yeah, that they've got a partnership with the state, right? Yeah, so that's another thing that, like, I know the park districts with that, we've entered in with them, and they can also give us, they can state contract buy rates for pretty much anything. So, I mean, that could be that's another avenue that we can look at, and see, and still get that. We, obviously, then now we gotta go bid it out. Well, no, actually, Sourcewell, they can bid it out for us. Yeah, because so. Way more favorable for that than I am, but, I mean, that would, and Brett, does any other county or anybody you deal with, Sourcewell? Have you ever heard? Okay. I mean, we just went into the agreement with them last month.
Okay.
So,
You got lots of other counties.
yeah.
So I have one other thing about this. If we end up going past the turn-in date for these cars, and we end up making another rent payment, no lease payment covering these cars, what does that do to the contract? Is that automatically extended, or is it, we go month to
I
month?
think
I believe the terms indicate it's a month to month after.
I'll ask that.
Okay.
I believe that's what I had read.
Because, I mean,
It doesn't automatically renew for another 3-year term or 4-year term.
I just want to make sure that we're not signing, paying,
Another 4 years.
having to do something.
I'll look that up while we're talking.
Okay.
What is the interest rate on the leased program?
I can't remember. Probably work backwards and figure it out. I mean, it's on the, I mean, this is just like a straight off an Excel spreadsheet that he sent me just for the values.
Yeah.
So since we're having a discussion about appropriateness, when both of mine become expired, the lease expires, my truck is very adequate. The second truck that we have is undersized for what we do. One, it cannot pull we have 1 out of our 5 trailers. It's the only thing it can pull because it's undersized. It's the V6. Yes, it's the half ton with the V6 in it with the long bed, and it cannot pull the mobile operations. It can't pull our larger trailers. So I would ask that we consider upgrading that and to not have a single cab because we move people like frequently.
So that truck will come up first. You took longer to get your truck,
Yes, sir.
your second truck.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
that
the
first one
1500
is
will
up,
come up first.
and I want to think it was it December, November, December?
There are several
They're
in the
all
next
over.
5-6 months.
So yeah, we'll have to look at that. And I agree, yeah, I think you need a heavier duty truck.
And if we vacate the lease and go into a purchase to replace, we can use the existing upfitting stuff. It'll,
You have to take off, you have to take it
yeah,
off.
most of that stuff will come off. So the cost of it would be
I would say the only thing that we're looking at is probably the lettering. It's on the truck.
lettering and some kind of solution for the back, because that is a long bed. No, wait, we put a toolbox in there. So yes, we could move the cargo container over. So
Yeah.
yeah, it would be the lettering and moving the lights and the radios. Would be the
Right.
outfitting charge.
So those things we discuss once we know which direction we're gonna go.
But I would request that we consider upgrading that to at least the same size truck that
I agree.
The only other thing to take into consideration to remember is, I mean, you either got to buy the thing outright or you can only, take a loan for 2 years. So, technically the way this lease is written, I think it's technically like a 1-year lease 4 times or something. It's how we had like language it to meet the statute. But I mean, we're not the city of Marion. We can't do a 5-year,
Right.
because we're not home.
No, we're limited on what we
Yeah,
can
well,
offer the Senate.
Double check. So I think, I don't know, if I'm figuring this up with the trade-in credit and acquisition costs, raise somewhere around like 3.5%.
On some of those, that's why I asked the question about if we extend the lease by payment.
Yeah, but you don't want to do that,
I know we don't want to do that.
because it's
Depending
double,
on how the budget works, right?
yeah, but it's double the rate.
What it is.
So if you don't turn the vehicle in when they tell you to turn the vehicle in, contract's up, then it's double the daily rate.
All right, so we have a hard deadline.
Okay.
Yeah, our deadline, or if they're willing to give us a 30-day extension, I mean, that's the other question you can ask.
Okay.
Are they willing to
And
extend?
you're gonna ask them about what happens with that $8,000 credit for the car.
All right, so I'm gonna ask about applying the trade-in option if there's anything about buying outright. And then the month lease if they're willing to extend it without doubling the kicker rate. Okay. Anything else?
Actually, thank you. About anything else in this time? We've been all done. That discussion on white ash sewer. Jim, I know you've been working on that.
Yeah, what I'd like to do today is present the board, bring in an update of what I've been working on and ideas. What I've been working on, if you recall, this is a problem that we've been dealing with since 2014. And we basically just been the middle person to make sure that the payments get taken care of. That's all. If there is an issue with legislation or anything like that, we have to call on somebody else, third party, to take care of it. If you recall, early on, at the beginning of this year, I made a commitment to let's resolve this issue by the end of the year. I'd like to see that the county walk away from this by the end of this year. But not in just walking away. Developed a plan, and the plan is to express to the village of Johnson City once again everything about the sewer system. As you recall, we applied our money over $800,000 to give that system a brand new system. And so it is a brand new system and it is profitable. I've contacted every city council member in Johnson City and explained what we have here and going forward. Also talked to the mayor of Providence about this. We do have a meeting set up on August 25th to present this idea. The idea that I'd like to present to them is to make this more palatable. Honestly, gentlemen, unless that bond is taken care of, I don't think Johnson City is really interested in this, although their name is not attached to it, and neither is ours. But if you take a look, and I had actually run the numbers, we have approximately $58,000 in the total white ash sewer funds. And in checking with the USDA, this was in February 2nd of 26 this year. There was a total of $84,610 left to pay on the bond. My idea is, and what I'd like to present to Johnson City is that we applied all of that money that we have in our funds, which is approximately $58,000. And actually, I know that changes probably weekly. depending on what's coming in, what's going out. That'd give us a little difference of about maybe $25,000 difference. So how do we take care of that? Well, you can't use ARPA money to pay off loans. That was one of the things that we could not use. But as Ashley and I discussed, the money that we deposited in the bank from ARPA for county's purposes has developed some interest. We have about $100,000 of interest. The interest is free money that the county receives. It's not attached to any, it's not from taxpayers. And I would like to propose that we take a small portion of that, the difference of whatever's on that bond after we apply it, have that bond totally paid for. This system is a profitable system. And actually ran a profit loss statement from December 1 to May 31st of this year. And it shows a net income of almost $14,000 just in 6 months. So it's a profitable system, although it's a system that's still going to need maintenance, and it needs a municipal entity with the trained and qualified, EPA qualified department to take care of this. This is a sanitary situation for these people in Whitefish. They're going to be left without the sewers, without maintenance on the sewer system. So Johnson City already takes care of their sewer system. They maintain the system. No, they don't maintain it. They treat the sewer that goes there. But I'd like to see Johnson City take it over to where they can also maintain it. And in order to do that, I'd like to make this as palatable as possible for Johnson City. My goal is to get board approval to use just a little portion of that interest to pay off the difference of that bond. And that bond is totally taken care of, gone. So now we're looking at a profitable system that can be taken over by Johnson City. I've talked to, there's 8 city council members. I've talked to all 8 of them. I think I've got at least 6 that are in favor of doing this, possibly a 7. So there's enough interest now for me to go ahead and set up this meeting. The meeting I'm setting up will include not only myself, but Kevin Smoot, Brian Ziegler. I've asked Red originally on the first day we could make it, but Red won't be able to make it on that. I've also asked Ashley Gott to be there to answer any questions, and this is basically an FYI. It's nothing that they need to approve. It's just an FYI. If they have questions concerning this system, I want someone that will answer. I won't get an answer how it was fixed, and how the electronics were fixed. And then I've also requested Brian Rowley from Illinois Environmental Protection to see work with Brian and with Joe and Steve in the past. So I say all this because honestly, I think unless this happens, I think this is dead in the water. Either way, I'd still like to see it at the end of the year. County meeting. We have contracts. I've pulled them up. I've given the copy of the contracts to Brett. The contracts are with the Village of Pittsburgh and with the Village of Johnson City. Basically, it deals with how the payments are handled, how the payments are distributed. I believe in both contracts, there's probably a 60-day window that we have to give notice if we're going back out. So, gentlemen, this is where I'm at with this. I'd like to see the board be in favor of taking care of the bond for not only for Johnson City, but for the Village of Whitefish to help them with their sanitary system. So I think I've got all the players there that I need to answer any questions they may have, and it will be hopefully be placed on an agenda at a future, one of the future city council meetings. So does anyone have any questions?
Comments? And maybe I'll come around to questions that start talking. First, appreciation for your efforts. This has been on my board to get rid of this, my white board to get rid of this as well. I've had some conversation with groups as well to move on this. I have flip-flopped. I'll tell you, I have flip-flopped on should we be thinking about paying this off or should we not? Should the burden stay with the people that built the system, took the loan out, and then tried to walk away from it? And I flip-flopped on that, and I'm back to, I think that burden should fall to them in one form or fashion. I've done the same looking and saw that we have the bulk of that money available to pay most of that bond off. And then it comes down to what I'll call the recipient. If we use, and I understand the argument of interest as well, although that's interest that could be used in any other part of the county or all over the county. And we're using it to bail out someone that walked away from obligation. And that kind of stinks in my crawls. So where I've come to on this, and I agree with you 100%, we've got to get the county out from underneath this. And again, I appreciate your efforts, but I could not vote yes on this unless we already had a signed agreement with Johnson City. And it has to be locked down. I don't want to make a payment preemptive and then pitch, because then we may not get the result we want and we paid it off. So if there's an MOU or an IGA, RED, whatever would be required, if that's signed and in place, we're talking about $30,000 or less. I'm probably with you.
You know, you brought up a very good point. And I would be in the same mindset that I'm not here just to pay off somebody else. The problem is the people that put the note in place are not here. It's unfortunate the way this happened. And early on, you found out after you started doing this, we don't want to do this anymore. We will not do this for any other meeting. Also, this is a one. And I agree, if this is just to pay the note off, no, I would not be. I agree, I think that we don't want to put the cart in front of the horse per se, and not have a commitment from Johnson City. All I'm asking from this board is to consider the idea, and hopefully that they would agree that we could use a little portion of that money to pay off that note if we had even from Johnson City. I agree.
Yeah, that's one way I can get behind this. And I'm still not 100%. Quite honestly, I'd rather give Johnson City the money to buy a piece of equipment or something like that instead of us paying the debt off, because never counts debt. I know that's splitting hairs, but like Commissioner Razor said, that was an agreement that was made by White Ash, and they walked away from it. But that being said, we've got to get off of this. We are not a municipality. We don't have the ability to do these things.
One of the city council members said, well, if it's profitable, why doesn't the county take it over? It's very simple, because we don't have a water sewer department. We don't have anything qualified by EPA standards to handle anything like this. We have to rely on third-party institutions, and could be that something happens on a weekend, or we're on vacation, or whatever, or the other entity's on vacation. Kevin Scoot's doing all this.
He gets telephone calls.
And what if there's no more Kevin Scoot? I mean, you know, what if, it's just a lot of what if. And it's gonna happen at some point. But I would hate to see us use all that money to give the new system and then walk away from it with no one. I mean, it's almost the same situation. That's a lot of money to add a system.
That system failed, and
And it will fail again.
let's be clear about the reason we did that. We had lift stations that were not operating, and the raw sewage is going out the ground there. That had to be fixed, and there's nobody was going to do it. EPA was going to take care of it.
No, they were looking for somebody to find.
They were looking for somebody to blame for that. And of course, we pointed out to them it wasn't ours, and they couldn't find us. But once again, it's fixed, it's operating the way it should, now's the time to get out from under it.
Exactly. So
If you can get an agreement, I think if I heard Commissioner Razor right, I agree,
and I agree.
I think we can do something, I'd rather, I know it's splitting hairs, I just hate the way it looks that we're paying somebody else's debt.
I would have to agree.
But at the end of the day, it's best for the people in that area that it's covered by municipality, they'll get better service.
And
I
hopefully
just
that
think
area
it's-
could even increase in value because now they have a sewer system that's being maintained by municipality.
Well, and a big thing is that if there's any growth in White Ash or anywhere that connects onto that sewer, then those connections to that sewer are being observed by a municipality who has the ability to govern how those connections are made. So it's, the best thing we can do is is for Johnson City to take it.
So all,
Secondary to this, sorry, Jim, secondary to this, in my research, I found that also folks in what was White Ash have not seen a rate increase since 2018. Well, just about every other system in the county is seeing almost an annual increase.
to answer that, I mean, speaking to the city council, not too long ago, I don't know exactly, or good then, yeah, they, but it's not just them, it's Johnson City.
And they sent that to Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
right, and so Pittsburgh added it to their bills.
but the point
We have
is,
no
and I
authority.
think what you were getting at, which I would agree with, the White Ash area itself probably needs another adjustment.
I believe so.
Because
Yeah.
minus the Johnson City here, you know,
Right.
help maintain. And that was part of what I originally, I was thinking, why can't they just budget and figure what it costs of an employee, vehicle, any more equipment, and put that into increase for just the White Ash area for what it maintains, what it requires, you know, if they need another man or.
Well, and I live in Carterville.
Yeah.
My water and sewer bill has a line on it just for debt service.
Yeah.
So, and I've talked to Mr. Violet in Pittsburgh, and he said they do have the ability that if we decided to add that to help cover that note, that is out there as well. Again, I think that's for a later discussion. But as we're considering this, if Johnston City would hesitate at all, and this ends up stuck, that we're stuck here, there are some other options here where we can bring in more revenue to help pay this thing off.
So, going back to I guess my original thought, do I have the blessing of the board to pursue to try to get an agreement with Johnson City, and if they can agree to it, that along with our commitment to pay off the bond, they would take it over. So maybe something in writing. Then, we'd be in-
Yeah, pursuit of signatures is fine. Pursuit of handshakes is not good with me at this point.
No, I understand that, it's too much money.
But they have got to agree to it.
All right.
At,
For,
in a board meeting.
That's what, so that's what I'm. The only thing.
for a little bit of clarification, if I may, for just a moment. Mr. Marlowe is dead on target. You, a little bit farther on this. When we inherited this as a county board, this wasn't done. The USDA, we did not have a choice. The rules that were in place, the county was the default. Williamson County was the default on this. And there were other small districts throughout the state of Illinois was in the same boat, not as deep as White Ash was. What caused this in the first place was the family that ran White Ash left, literally. They destroyed records as they were going out the door. And when we came in as a county board, we were behind the eight ball. And the people of White Ash had no idea what was going on. Everything was done in secrecy. And we had a big meeting here that had this room filled up totally with people from White Ash wanting to know what was going on. And because of this problem that Mr. Marlowe was talking about with White Ash, or with Johnston City, that has been the sticking point from the get-go. Johnson City was willing to take this over, and but they will not, under any circumstances, be obligated to a debt that they didn't incur. The citizens of White Ash, they were thrown under the bus, and the attorney that they had at that time wasn't doing her job. Not only were they not getting the money from the state that they were needing for the roads, they were not getting the money that they were needing for running the sewer system. And had the fact that we didn't want, the county, Williamson County government did not want to take this over. We were forced to by the USDA.
Thank you.
Remember
We need to move on. Yes.
So just for clarification, the ARPA fund today has made $990,673.49 in interest. So that'd be a small amount. Also, just for food for thought, to keep in mind, we did use ARPA money to replace the entire lift station
Right.
for $700,000. Ever since White Ash has dissolved, the county also receives all of that income tax allotment and all other PGRT and everything else that would be applied to that, although I can get 250 people, I know it doesn't amount to much, but it still has 8 years worth of that. You know, in addition to the ARPA money was in essence $250 per person within the county. So then those, people counted for that on county side. So, I mean, there has been some monies that have come from outside sources because the county has absorbed those. So, I mean, I don't think the number is as high as what, you are envisioning it as, Mr. Razor, is the gap from what we have to what the payoff is. It's still significant, but I mean, even if you had to take the full 50, probably it's like around 100 grand or 110,000 or something. So
For the bond,
for the bond,
85.
85, okay, so
84, 810.
you're talking, half a percent of it.
And that was our best.
That just funds.
And at the time too, when all this took place, we never had. ARPA was just a blessing that came through. And that's why, we had no idea. So, but anyway, hindsight is that we would never do this again. This is, we've been trying to look for if it's a possible solution. And I like representing Johnson City. I have a meeting set up on this 25th. And so I'm just with the full city council, 6 o'clock.
Look,
Thank you,
Oh,
Jim.
can I have one other thing? Sorry. And in the first year or two of the P&L, whenever, because we actually had to do a USDA profit and loss and balance sheet on behalf of White Ash for that. I just,
That's it?
this one we were credit, we started. So,
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, next thing on the agenda is contract for emergency management agency director. And gentlemen, we're not quite up to snuff on that contract yet. I would like to discuss this in closed in a few minutes. We have some additional terms we need to discuss. I need you to hang around.
Yes, sir.
And we'll handle that after closed session. I'd like to understand. Fireworks permit application for Walker's. Brett, I know that you've seen this. Everything look okay?
Yep.
Okay, you said that you still need the fire department inspection on this?
Yeah, I think that happens 48 hours prior to the 48 or 72.
Depends on when the vendor is ready. It has to be set up and it has to be cordoned off, so it happens less than 6 to 8 hours before the event typically.
So typically, we approve this contingent on
Correct.
a clean inspection.
Correct. This company's out of Iowa, I believe. So it's not a little.
And Brian, that's Williamson County?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that being said, is there a reason for us not to approve this contingent on a cleared inspection?
can I ask a question?
Sure.
Make things complicated. So I've been involved in approving these since I've been here. We all have. And I guess I came up with some questions. I spent some time with Brian yesterday. If this is approved today, how are the entities that do the inspections notified that it was approved and that they need to do the inspection?
Well, last couple of times I called the fire department.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's a good question. That is a good question.
That, and this was actually, I think, Brian volunteered for this, right or wrong, that it probably makes a little sense going forward as we centralize that and notify his office. He can then work with the appropriate fire department, whoever it might be in the location.
As a matter of fact, I think I asked you to call last time. I think that's how that played out.
Yeah, I guess I'm just asking for a little formality in the procedure here. And the other thing is, I've not seen the inspections come back. But it would be nice to get that inspection back. His understanding is the fire department that's doing it, they keep records that they've done the inspections. But I don't know that they come back to our application, that our application's being recorded without those. Again, just a simple step, if we can get that back so that it's all in one packet, that if we ever look for it in the future.
I agree. So what is the date for the fireworks display?
August
18th.
18th.
So if we would call Mr. Galloway.
Sir.
And get it back to us.
So one of the commitments that I had made to Commissioner Razor is if moving forward, if you want to finalize the process, once the board approves these fireworks agreements, if they're transferred to my office, then I will take on notifying the appropriate departments as I'm aware of who all those people are, and then get the county generated permit, or sorry, not the permit, send the permit and the county generated inspection form, which is part of the application, and then have that returned to us once the inspection's been done, and then I will submit the complete packet.
You'll send the county agreement.
So I will, once you guys approve it, I will take it all the way through the end and return the packet.
So we can still approve it.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
So that point, get out there.
So in the future, once you guys approve, if I happen to not be part of the meeting, when you guys do that, Stephanie can forward it to my office and then I'll take care of it and I'll close it out. And then once I close out the application, I'll return it to Stephanie for the file.
Yep.
And that way I become responsible for chasing down that inspection.
Would it be appropriate for us to add a sheet here with Brian sign off on?
I think every time, that way we got a record, we can talk.
Yeah.
To say, you know,
Well, there already is a form. There's the site inspection report, that would be the form that Brian, somebody would fill out, give to Brian. I will note though that the fireworks, I know one document says the 18th, the other one says the 21st. Being the 21st is a Friday and the 18th is a Tuesday, I do believe it's the fireworks information, or event information sheet is the proper date. So an approval, I would note for the 21st, not the 18th.
we can verify.
Well, the fire department can verify that date because they'll have to call and schedule the inspection.
Well, I'm just saying for the permit aspect, like, we'll say that they're permitted to let off the fireworks on the 21st. So.
That being said, then, make a motion that we approve the fireworks permit application for Walker Bluff Casino contingent that it passes the inspection by the Wilkes County Fire Department. And that, Robert signs off on
He'll oversee the process from the.
it. Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is letter of support from the Village of Pittsburgh. They sent that to us, they sent this letter to us 2 weeks ago, gentlemen. It's on the agenda today for us to approve, so get this letter out. Is there any comments or questions on this?
The only thing I'd always like to see at the very end, it's from the kick full board, but I mean, it's just a, so I don't even know if we bring it to the board vote. So, I mean, I don't care.
Typically, those things, when they come into me, I'm just signed and sent back.
These require votes.
It's preference of the board.
So if you prefer those in the future, I'll bring that to the board. Typically, I've just been bringing them out to the city hall.
As far as the only reason would be transparency. So,
Okay, do you want, you guys, either of you want to sign it, you want all three of us to sign it?
Doesn't matter to me.
it doesn't matter. So, just-
Okay. Last one is the surplus of property. You got disposition of most of that property.
Do you want me to say something about that?
If you wouldn't mind.
At the board meeting last week, Brian, had the letter here, which I have, the U.S. Department of Interior for the refuge. There's all of this county property, very old county property, and one of the, I guess, buildings there that they are wanting to remove because it is so contaminated, and they will take care of the removal for us. EMA was unaware that they even had a new property left over there because it is so old. So at the recommendation of Rhett, all this property has now been added to our assets so that it can properly be surplused out.
So that property list is your exhibit A.
Correct, and I
That
have
would
it.
be
if
attached to
you
the
guys-
resolution, yeah.
If you guys need it, I have a copy in my
I
hand.
saw.
We'll need to attach one to the resolution when we file it.
I'm gonna give it to you right now. I have many copies.
That's the same list I have.
You have it, okay.
Right, same list. Jim, did you see it?
I saw it on my email. I don't think I have it here in my packet.
Jim, did you see it?
I've seen it, yes.
Okay. Don't tell me how old this stuff is.
Some of that would have been great museum material.
We got some really cool stuff. It just,
Have you seen it?
no, that building is surrounded by fencing with barbed wire. It's nickel plated, dust that's on it and it's extremely toxic.
It's very sad because some of those vehicles sound like it would be very neat to
Yeah.
display, like an old 1950s rescue vehicle for the county, you know, very sad.
It's contaminated fluids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Stuff out
asbestos,
there.
the building is full of asbestos for the letter, so.
I do not have a resolution number.
Yeah, I'm checking with Julie right now.
And moving backwards, I have not found an EMA director as far back as the one that's actually put eyes on that stuff. So I'm gonna say that Dykus was probably the last one who actually has physical contact with that property.
Sometime.
Was it in the bunk, just curious, bunker that where all the MASH equipment was?
No, sir, it's in a small garage sized building near the, remember where the old EMA coroner's office was? It's just adjacent to where that building used to be, right on the one floor.
I didn't even realize it was still in there.
I didn't,
Nobody
I
did.
didn't either until I got this letter about disposition. I'm like, disposition. So,
Building S-2-5.
Making the salaries.
Well, does anybody
Yeah,
have?
she's come back to.
Yes. We can do this one, this also. Public comments. Anybody have a public comment they'd like to make? Asking once, asking twice, public comment. Okay, hearing none, moving down to miscellaneous. Anybody have anything miscellaneous?
I got one question for the board. The Hazelbar Local Gov contract has matured, so we would need to renew that. If the county does that on behalf of Visit SI, Visit SI pays all the payments. Does that need to be brought before the board? I mean, with action taken for renewal.
Do they pay it or do they reimburse us?
No, they pay everything. Whatever invoices, I just send directly to the girls at Business SI, and they cut the check and send it directly to us.
When
We
when is it up?
Well, I think maybe it's not already, but I just told them we will review it. But, I mean, it's that platform that we use for all the short-term rentals and then all of that stuff. So it's just a continuation of that. But yeah, we don't ever pay anything. All the fees are taken out from either them or the piece that's the recovery piece for the short-term rentals that are inside the city of Marion for the 2% that we collect on behalf, or the 3% that we collect on behalf of the city of Marion gets pulled out of that pool fund and it's netted out. So the county pays nothing.
Yeah, I think they required us to pass a resolution and provide them that in order to initiate the program, so.
Yeah, but I mean, now
The
that
real question is, what do they require to show that we want to continue on?
it's just a signature, I mean, it's a 2-page, I think it's 2 or 3-page document, just with a request.
I don't have a problem.
Chairman,
Bring it to the board, get.
Yeah, we just need a motion and approval and sign it.
Okay,
That's
Do
all.
you have that ready by the August meeting?
yeah.
Or is that too late?
There's one next Tuesday.
Go down, control next Tuesday.
Yeah, you have one
That's right.
next Tuesday
I
at
forgot
9
about
a.m.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't remember
Can
calling.
Do that
I mean,
before we,
I have it, I mean, I can forward it to Red.
Yeah.
If you could, if
Yeah.
you could have that ready for us.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to see what the process.
Okay, anything else from miscellaneous?
Circle back to the resolution that deem that property surplus. Now that it's surplus, can we enter into that agreement for dissolution of that ownership?
Yeah.
The property agreement. or
we're
does it
waiting
have-
for the resolution number.
Yeah, it would still be in research by you.
So we're gonna go to close. We'll handle that when we get back out of close.
Okay. Great.
We've already had a discussion about that. Anything else? Someone? Brett, do you have a statute?
5 ILCS 122C1.
Can I make a motion to go to closed session, executive session, because of the statute? Is there a second? Well, everybody do roll call. I believe we can just go. Yeah. All right, Commissioner Marlowe?
Yay.
Mr. Rizzo? Mr. Agus? Yes. We are now closed. It's 10:08 a.m.
And then we'll do that. I think I've got the number.
Yeah. The only thing, we have to discuss the contract.
Yeah.
There's language coming up last second. And so we'll come back. One of our, what we passed. If it doesn't.
That's fine, or even Tuesday.
And what is these? Again, what are they asking or what are they doing? You didn't have to let. Thank you so much.
I'll make it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All
The chairman and the second.
I need to contact you about that meeting to be on the city. Which one?
Is it a meeting under the Open Meetings Act, or is it just a meeting you guys?
It would have to be open meeting, because if there's a full city council meeting.
They're full city council.
So,
Yeah.
ours, no.
Yeah, so they would have, I don't know when their council meetings all are.
Second Tuesday of every month, so the 11th. Meeting set up for the 25th, so it's the last.
So this would be part of the council, so they'll have an agenda.
Council meetings.
So what will that council 28 and 5
Yeah.
here?
We're scheduled to meet at
And then we want to travel.
Questions.
You're back live.
Okay. All right, back in the executive session. July 21st, 2026, it's 10:55 a.m. Have a roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson,
Present.
Jim Marlowe,
Present.
Jim Ranger.
All right, we have a couple of things that business to do today. First one being contract for emergency management agency director. And we have this. Brian, are you comfortable with the terms of the contract?
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, we comfortable with the contract too?
Yes, yes.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the EMA contract?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Red, do we need to list anything on the contract approval?
Nope, I don't think so. It'll be public records.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe,
Yeah.
Jim Ranger.
Yeah.
What was the other thing that we had?
Letter of surplus.
Surplus.
I will move to approve resolution 26-07-21-27, declaring certain real property as surplus, authorizing its disposition.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson,
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe,
Yeah.
Jim Ranger.
Yes.
All right, is there anything else for this board today? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move. Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson,
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe,
Yeah.
Jim Ranger.
Yeah.
All right, this is for you guys to sign.
That was, Jim, you said that was 26-07-21-27.
Yes.
The letter to return the refuge, is that I need signatures on that as well. You have that letter, join me, send it to you. Now that we've.
I don't know that I have a copy. I don't know if there's a copy.
No, all of you sign.
I don't have a copy here with me today. We don't have it.
Okay.
My office is.
That's the
Copy.
That way we can, let's refuge get started on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Takes forever sometimes getting this stuff done.
Yes. You need a government. You accept.
One of them, we
These
got
for you to sign.
We'll do an intergovernmental agreement transfer.
Yes. I'm saying if they.
Well, you need a copy of the, what they just approved, the resolution or?
No, I need the letter of understanding for refuge.
Where that's.
He said he has it. I did.
With the intent, take contingent. Did you think the county will? Transfer.
Well, if we get the agreement, we'll need the agreement, the IGA. And then the board will vote to reference that in the IGA that is created here. The board will take the action to go for. Oh, sorry.